Hey everyone, I am Bianca and welcome to the Modern Boss. This is where we get real about the boss experiences. So we share the highs, the lows, and everything in between. So we're excited about today.
And I'm the co host, Oksana, and we are bringing you real conversations every week about authority, leadership, business, all that good stuff, and how to actually build something that works for you as a woman entrepreneur.
Exactly. And today's topic, drum roll please, because it's about my co-host's book. She's an author. She's an author. It's called Brand Like You Mean It. Okay. And this is such a great topic because it's about how to build a personal brand that gets you seen, not just something that's frilly and foofy and cute. Like we're talking about getting seen. So we're digging into like why women kind of hide behind having this authority and how to stop shrinking and how to be who you say that you are and show up in that way.
Exactly. And we're going to be sharing some of our all wins and challenges as well, some latest branding trends, and practical tips that you can start using today to make sure that your brand really stands out.
So if this resonates with you, make sure you're subscribing to the Modern Box. Hit that like and subscribe button because we're about to get into it and you don't want to miss this conversation. All right, baby girl. As you know, we always talk our talk in the beginning until we share our highs and our lows. So you want me to go first or like, what's up, girl? Tie your tongue. Okay. So this particular week, my challenge this week was, I think that my biggest challenge this week was organizing my time. There is a lot of follow-ups that I had to do this week, and then my follow-ups were taking time on the work that I needed to do, and then the work that I needed to do is taking time for the other work that I needed to do. So I just felt like it was not like everything just wasn't functioning as a cohesive schedule. It was just like I was kind of just like putting out fires. And you know what another challenge of mine this week? Notifications on my phone.
Oh, Lord. Yes. See, I use focuses.
I do too.
I used to look at that, but you don't look okay.
Oh my gosh. One, I'm part of a group me at my gym and that thing be booming. And then on top of that, it's like friends, family. Like I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of family. And then I get notifications from my clients'
Oh, yeah.
social media pages. So I was overwhelmed with like, I think at one point I was like, okay, we're done with this. Like I just tossed my phone to the side and walked away because I was like, I literally cannot with the notifications. That I'm done. I'm done. So yeah, that was my challenge this week. What about yourself? What was your challenge?
What about your money?
Okay, yeah. My wins were nice. Oh, you know what my win was this week? My win was unexpected leads. Right. I said not a lead. And for most of us, we should know what a lead is. Like a lead is basically a person that shows interest into your business that potentially wants to do business with you, or essentially is like, hey, I need that service or I need that product. Like that is a lead. And so usually you do like a follow up with them, whatever the case may be. And so this week, actually, I went on, as I mentioned before, I'm in a group, a leads group, like it's made to get us leads. And so I went on a tour of a facility of somebody in that leads group, not looking for a lead, just we do these, and we talked about this in our last episode, that we in my leads group we do one-to-ones. And so it's basically like getting to know the people. Like, so he has a facility and he was just like, oh, just come by, I want you to see the facility. But when I was there, the general manager was like, we actually might need you. Like, so that was kind of cool because it was like, my intention wasn't, I was just going to see like, okay, what does this business do? How can I serve the business? Like, because if I know more about your business, then I'm able to tell other people. And so I was able to get, some interest in my business. So that was a win for me this week.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
It's always good. So I'm here.
Listen, that's how to be fair. That's how you would sustain this business. So always needed something in the pipeline. How do you feel this week? How do you feel like What do you think your lows and your highs are this week?
I think my win's kind of obvious, so I'll save that one for.
Well, yes.
But no, I think my challenge this week, to be honest with you, like I almost was about to like not do my master class.
Why?
That was my challenge. I don't know. I was kind of just like, I think I'm evented out for the year.
I saw to be invented out all the time. She'd just be like, how can we not do this? Less events. I'm like, girl, we gotta do it.
I know.
Yeah.
But, and I don't know. I kind of wrestled internally.
It's just a lot of effort.
It's a lot of effort. But I went back through the material and I was just like, no, I have to share this.
Yeah, but
I have to do it. It's just needed, I really believe that what I'm doing now is something that equal hate.
yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to show up and I'm excited. As you should. And that was it. So I had a little moment that I had to work through.
How'd you overcome that? Like, what made you,
Like I said, it was kind of just like me just deciding I was going to do it, like deciding I needed on my mailings. And it was mostly because I've had a very interesting last couple of weeks. So I was a little worn out. But I was like, feelings aside, like I really believe in what this is and I believe in what I'm doing and I really believe that it's something that's needed. So I'm gonna do what I'm equipped to do,
what you were put here to do?
Exactly. So yeah, that was my only little comment this week, but I worked through it, So
Hey, you have to do it because you have a tour coming up. You got all kinds of stuff going on.
I know, yeah. I don't do it now. I'm not gonna do it for this year. This is my last public event of this nature for the rest of the year. It's up switching into book tour on Apex. So that brings me to the WIC, which is the book tour. So it was an idea. At first, I was like, yeah, I'd like to, do a little tour, make a few appearances, talk about the book, share the movement behind it, all that good stuff. But I was like, I don't know, let me actually plan some dates out and see how it's going to work. So I did that. And now I have a whole lot of dates on the calendar. So I'm like, okay, looks like I'm going to be busy for the rest of the year, but in the best way.
Right.
I know. So that's my win. Like I took the idea, making it happen, and I'm going to let it keep just doing what it does.
And it will. So that's exciting. Well, speaking of your book, that leads us into the topic that we're going to be talking about today, which is really cool. It's about the first segment we're going to talk about is hiding versus being seen, which I think is such an important topic for women entrepreneurs because we're so easily to be like, oh, well, I want to do it too much. I don't want to do that. Yeah. We're always doing that. I mean, I think I do that maybe twice a week. And I mean, at least once a week, I'm like, you're not doing too much. And then I'd be like, you know what? People who are less qualified are doing the most. And so let me at least I got qualifications. All right. All right. But let's talk about it. So in your book, you talk about like a hidden helper season. So tell me what you mean about hidden helper and like, what was going on in that season that made you call it that?
So my hidden helper season, oh boy, let's go back.
And what is an hidden helper?
So the hidden helper, which I'm sure a lot of you may be able to relate to as well, the hidden helper is the person that spends so much time behind the scenes, helping other people with their visions and building what they believe in through other people. And so for me, my hidden helper season was the fact that, number one, let's just go a little ways back. Since the age of 16, I've been in and around business.
Okay.
So at 16, I was helping out a talent agency, right? From there, I went on to other businesses and organizations and things that I just, been a part of, visions that I've been like really proud to be a part of, to serve, right? But after a while, I realized that, all this value and everything that I was giving was great, but I realized that I was starting to hide behind the vision of others instead of fully stepping into my vision. So I had to kind of, be real with myself a little bit and just be like, wow, like, I think it's about that time.
Yeah, I think the leap and like step into the spotlight.
Yeah, to finally just, you're like, yeah, this is me. This is what I'm going to do. And this is the vision that I want to pour myself into. And so that definitely was a season of mindset shifting for me, for sure. And I think, actually, you want to timestamp it. There was a reel that I put out maybe like a year and a half ago, over a year ago, where I talked about the lesson that I learned about humility. You remember that one, right? And so what I realized was what I was doing wasn't me just being humble and being like, the power behind the scenes. I was hiding, like legitimately hiding. And, humility is not about hiding the things that make you great or hiding behind the visions of others. It's really about stepping into and believing in yourself so much that your actions speak for you.
Right.
And so that was like a big aha moment for me. And yeah, I think that was a big turning point in that part of my journey. So the hidden helper eventually became an archetype now that I call the hidden expert. And I guess we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it was an interesting time.
Okay.
But yeah, so like, have you ever found yourself hiding, behind somebody else's vision instead of your own?
For sure.
Do tell me.
When I first started doing this social media marketing, a lot of people in Tallahassee know me because I was hiding behind somebody else's vision. Essentially, I was in the spotlight. I was the face of a brand that was not my own. And I was doing all the things. I was showing up on the videos and teaching the classes and doing all the stuff. And at the time, it served me. And I needed it because, and I think that was also my journey of building my authority. But to be 100%, if I would have been doing it for my own, like on my own,
Right.
all from that time, how much further would I have been? But also I kept that same concept from that agency to another. I mean, I just kept going from agency to agency, knowing that I was the talent, like knowing that like they ain't coming to you always, like, like okay, they ain't coming to see you, and so yeah, so I mean, to the point where God, I believe it was God, took it away from me. Like, I didn't leave, it was pulled from me. So I would have been the hidden expert for until probably the wheels fell off, because I was even launching my business and still working at, like, I was still like, it was a good check though, I don't gonna lie. But so yeah, I think that I did that for a very long time. Not very long. I think it was also needed, but I could feel that I was kind of getting lost in that too.
And it's not to say that it's wrong to support the vision of others, right? Because there's things that you learn, things that you glean from those experiences. But I think you just done when it's time,
Yeah. But what do you think in that season made you most afraid to like step out? Like what held you back in that season?
To be real with you, it was a fear, obviously, but I think it was a combination of the fear of leadership because of the burnout.
Leadership because of the burnout.
And what I mean by that is, like, I understand the weight of leadership.
Leader, yes.
I understand the responsibility. Yes, there are rewards as well, okay? Obviously, but I understand the responsibility of it. And I've seen what has happened to a lot of leaders. And so I think for me, it's different supporting a vision than being the one that carries the full responsibility of it.
It really is.
It's so different. And so for me, I was just like, if I step into this, like, I don't want to be one of those burnt out leaders, because as a leader, you are the first one to take the risk, the first one to take the blame, the first one to be out there as the face of the vision, the face of the company, the face of whatever it is, right? And then you're the last one to eat. You're the last one that people check up. The last one that people even ask. If she's talking about you, say amen. If you even get that, how are you really doing? Are you all right?
Literally.
So seeing that and being in so many environments where I saw that, and I was honored to be one of those people that would check on it, or would offer support to leadership. But I think just having that understanding of how much weight you have to carry as a leader, it made me, I wasn't so much apprehensive, but I wanted to make sure that when I was ready, I was ready, So that was more so my fear was, like, if I step out and do this, like, it's all on me. That was my big fear.
Oh, they're scary. That's a fear that is very real. Especially both of us being full-time entrepreneurs, we know how much weight there is on our shoulders. Being like, if you don't work, you don't eat. Like, if you don't go out and catch the fish, then the fish is just not, like, there's just nothing happening. And that is a lot of pressure. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of sacrifices. It's a lot for organization. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. And so, I mean, even in the space of like, like we have two businesses, right? So, what's that? So it's not even that we're showing up as leaders on, in one place and solely focused on that, but we have other places where we need to show up. And so, like what I mentioned before about my schedule just being a jumble to me this week, it happens because you have so many things pulling you from left to right, that you're on this board, you're volunteering here, you're showing up here, you're trying, like, because people see leadership in you, they also pull you into being.
Yeah. And it's like everywhere. Most of the time that I was in positions of leadership, Bianca, I never asked to be.
Right.
Somebody said, hey,
Come lead all the leaders. Yeah.
but I never asked to be a leader. I was just that person where it's like, if I saw a gap or I saw something that needed to be done, I didn't mind stepping in to help.
Right.
And because of that, and not only that, but because of my character as well, I think there was just, people just trusted me.
Right. You're a leader. You are a leader.
So I was like, okay, well.
Yes. And it's in you. I mean, I'm sure in middle school and high school and stuff, you were in leadership positions then too. Like I was the same. I was like the president of my class, the president here. Like it was in us. It's been in us. We were born with it. But too, like, heavy is the head that holds the crown, right? Like, I think that's the same. Like, that was a struggle. I was like, but heavy is the head that holds the crown, and it really can be heavy sometimes to be, and this is not even what we're here to talk about today, but to be real with you, it comes with a lot. So I understand why you would take your time and be hidden for a little bit before you step out. I understand why anybody would do it. And I understand why people would go back in that. To be 100, like, we still gonna be real. Sometimes you need to step back to pop out.
Reevaluate, readjust.
Who wants to ask you?
Move on me. Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, I think that was the biggest fear of mine. Was that part. But what about you? What was your biggest fear when it came to like burning and stepping out? Yeah.
I think that's what we just talked about, that the weight of it, like the weight of knowing that my bills didn't get paid if I didn't. Because because one thing about these people, why do they ask for money every month? Every month. It's crazy how they set us up like this. And so because I knew that entrepreneurship required me to show up in a certain way, I knew that I didn't have the security of my 9 to 5 or my job, which can be secure and sometimes can't. But in this particular season, it was secure money, and it was showing up every 2 weeks. And I knew that once I stepped fully into owning my own business, doing my own thing, that it was all on me. And that is terrifying.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that responsibility. So I'm just going to go ahead. I did both of them. I mean, I was burning it. I think I told you about this season of mine. I was burning it at both ends. Like I was up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to work till 5, get off at 5, went to my office at 6, worked until 12, did it every single day for like months. And like, I could see it in my face in old pictures how drained I really was.
And that's the thing. I did not want to be that.
And I was tired, baby. But it's what I had to do at the time.
Repeat that part.
So it's what I had to do at the time.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
And
You to reset. And no sweetness started?
that was amazing.
All right, restarting establishment.
being the authority. And so, what is the cost of never stepping out and never finding that light?
For me, the cost of keeping myself hidden was that even in like towards the tail end of that season of my life, I realized I was positioning myself as a helper and not as the solution. And so because of that, I literally left hundreds of thousands of times, millions of dollars on tapes because I was showing up as the help and not as the solution that they needed. And so the literal cost could be hundreds of thousands to billions of dollars if you don't know how to position yourself correct. So there's that aspect of it, right? But then also what it was costing me internally, because even though I was showing up and I was serving others, at the back of my mind, I couldn't give myself to the vision fully because I was always like, dang, but I need to build this and I still have this to do. And I still have to finish this idea that I have for what I'm building over here. And so I couldn't had the freedom to lead and to show up the way that I fully am because I was still worried about unfinished business, right? And so for me, that was the biggest cost, was always living with that sense of I have so much more to do. I have so much more that I could be dealing. I couldn't take it anymore. And so the shift for me at that point was changing my mindset to the point where I was just like, you know what? I am more afraid of not fulfilling my purpose than I am of shrinking to continue to be accepted and to not step out and to not be. And so for me, that's what took to change that.
Yeah, that's a no. That's a good point. I think the cost would have been being miserable, to be honest. But the cost would have been my mental health, because at the end of the day, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know what it would look like. I mean, in different seasons, it looked different, and so if I never would have took the leap, then I just would have I would have been clawing my eyes out at somebody's job because I don't think that I make the best employee. Just to be real.
It was the circus, as it said.
I don't. I'm not the best one. I'll do the work. Don't get me wrong, but with the following the rules and like, it's just like sometimes I'm sure if you have a 9 to 5 or you are a corporate, some of the goals and some of the people you report to are done. So
I was gonna try to let that one slide, but I felt the cut just to go. I had to wake up. That's it.
am I lying? No. Okay. So yeah, some of them are dumb and some of the rules are dumb. And so when I see things like that, I just get so annoyed. And so anyway, but yeah, so my cost would have been being miserable. But what I want to know is, what do you think is the biggest mistake that people are doing, especially when an entrepreneur is? What do you think the biggest mistake in doing with branding right now? Like, because we're talking about stepping out and like forgetting being hidden. Like, we're no longer in our hidden helper season or hidden expert season. What is something that the people who are out there doing, or even they're wrong?
First of it, do you go? That's the number.
No, as like they've already stepped out.
Oh, okay. What are they doing wrong? Just because you step out of being a helper doesn't mean you don't still try to hide and to play small with your brand and to shrink yourself.
So you're like, so basically like the hidden helper. Well, you said it was a hidden expert and referred to you in your book.
Here's the thing about the hidden expert, right? So as a hidden expert, you finally took that leap. You're finally, walking in your leadership or in your business, right? But nobody knows you as the leader yet. And so you're not necessarily trying to hide, but your credibility is still hidden.
Yeah.
Because you haven't built it yet. And so I think during that stage of the authority era, right? You're kind of at that space where you have something to prove. Like you feel like you have something to prove to people if you have to show that you're credible in this area because they don't know you as the expert in that area, right? You're just getting out there. And so, yeah, I think the first step at that point is there has to be an alignment that happens, right? With you and who you truly are. So that way you can start communicating your credibility confidently to ID. And so I think that's the biggest part of that stage that I can, you have to focus on as a hidden expert is really saying, okay, well, now that I know who I am and I've embraced who I am, now it's time to actually embody it, be able to communicate it to other people, right? In a way that doesn't still make me shrink, but that really showcases
like sucking into it and like standing 10 to
both being able to talk about it in our day. Yeah, for sure. So
well, that kind of brings us into the topic of brand like you mean it, because being seen and being visible is not the same as being seen as an authority.
exactly.
So like you can put yourself out there and you can like
And people see
people see you, but they don't necessarily, it doesn't come to their mind that Oksana is the branding architect. Like they don't put two and two together. They're just like, oh yeah, I think she has a business.
you. Right.
She's doing something. I know, yeah, I know she's doing something, right? Maybe the messaging is not connecting. So let's get into that. Like when you say brain like you mean it, what do you mean by that? Like what does that actually mean?
So Real Like You Mean It is basically about building a brand where you're no longer playing it safe, where you're not being overly polished, but you're actually stepping into your power, right? Where you're actually saying, okay, I'm done playing it safe. I'm done, with the passive messaging. I'm done with not fully owning who I am.
Right.
And now I'm going to be able to say, like, this is what defines me as an authority. This is the space that I'm taking up in my category, right? And being able to display that to other people in a way that allows them to also perceive you as the authority. I think the biggest thing is that, as leaders, we know that we have authority, right? Like we're a lead. Duh. But there's often a perception gap between the leader that you are and the leader that people perceive you to be. And I call that the authority gap. And so the way to bridge the authority gap, depending on where you are in your authority journey, there's different solutions to it.
Okay.
Right? So you talked about the hidden expert, and the hidden expert is the person that needs to learn how to get those communication skills to actually communicate their competence in a way that piece up your credible. Right? Question. And then what you were talking about with the messaging, that's now the overlooked expert. Okay. So the overlooked expert is the one that, has been in business for at least about 2 years, right? So like people respect you for what you do, but you haven't really it hasn't really clicked yet. Like you were saying that this is the person I need to go to
Right.
for the specific thing. And so the key to that is knowing how to craft premium messaging. So your messaging is a huge part of your positioning as well. Right? So the way that you communicate is going to determine who you attract.
Right.
Period. And so if you are, it's a nice way to say this. If you go around die, if you are speaking to people that are operating in lack and survival mode, you're going to attract more people. So everything from the word choice to the focus of your messaging, all of it has to be intentional depending on who you're trying to attract. And so where I see a lot of, leaders kind of miss it with that part of the gap is they're communicating to people that aren't in a position to even invest in what they have to offer. And so, yeah, that's just, I don't want to go too deep into it yet, but that's a little bit of it. Okay. That's a little bit of it.
So that's what you know when you say brand like you mean it.
But yeah, just showing up as the authority and positioning yourself. And when we talk about positioning, just for context, we're talking about the real estate that you're taking up in the mind of your audience, right? So when they see you, if they don't automatically think, oh, this is who I need to go to for my brand, or this is who I need to go to for my marketing, or for whatever it is that you do, that means you're positioning some work.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about with positioning. So yeah, it's learning how to position yourself as an authority that people recognize.
That's important. That's really important in this age because there's so much noise.
Oof. And there is a lot of noise out there.
There's a lot of noise from not even just business owners, like politics, religion, like everything is noisy right now. And so to be able to stand out, I think is imperative in this season that you have the right messaging and branding.
Absolutely. And like I said about being too safe with it too, that's the easiest way to blend in.
Oh yeah,
right. And I think I've said this on the show before, but the only way to stand out is to have a stance. You have to be willing to state what you believe in and to stand behind it 10 toes down. That's how you stand out. Like you have to be willing to not attract everybody. I think is the hardest part probably of the messaging hard portion of it is because people are afraid of, well, if I say this, I don't want to exclude a certain group of people, or I don't want to offend another group of people, or whatever the case is. And I'm not saying, like just to go out there and let's say stupid stuff. That's not what I'm saying, but you have to be willing to say, okay, well, this is the message for a specific audience, and that's who I need to target is this specific audience. So if it does not apply to you, that's fine. But this is who I'm trying to target.
Right.
So you have to be willing to do that, to exclude the wrong people so you can attract the right ones.
I agree. And sometimes it gives you the opportunity to, one, tailor your offer.
Yeah.
And be more action driven, or results driven with the offer that you have, but also gives you the opportunity to have less of a headache.
That part. Ooh.
Because sometimes the clients that you filter out, they're filtered out for a reason.
Because it's not your audience. It's not rest on your, and it's aligned.
Sometimes it's not even worth
That's not.
the time or the money.
This is true. Yeah. So from the marketing perspective, right? When you work with entrepreneurs, like where do you see the biggest perception gaps happen?
I think the biggest perception gaps happen actually on video. I think when business owners get in front of a camera, that's when they're like clamming up or scared. So their authority kind of fades. So they're I think it's more of the perception of themselves.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
I can see it. Yep.
I'm in my bag out.
I know. She's here.
Yeah. It's the perception that they have of themselves. I think a lot, maybe insecurities, maybe not feeling like you're worthy, or not feeling like the conversation that you're having is needed, or just overall just scared of putting yourself out there and having these like videos or conversations or whatever the case may be. I think there's a lack of authority figure in their mind that they are. But outside, like the audience looking in, I think there's a lot of perception. There's a perception gap because of the fact that the business owner doesn't want to put themselves out there. So most of it can be about the product or about the service, but there's not necessarily any storytelling or any overall messaging about what the brand really represents internally, holistically. So the customer is just like, okay, well, I'm just here for the sale. I'm just here for whatever. And it's not really dived into the brand the way that I think that they should. So
That's what it sense.
yeah.
But you said something important because, like we talked about earlier, when embodying the identity of the authority, like if you don't believe it, nobody's still gonna believe it.
No.
But in all fairness, now let's be real. Once that camera turns on, people turn into a different person because now they feel like they have to perform.
Yes. That is huge. Like you think, but devil's advocate, there is a level of performance that you have on camera.
There is, however, when people people say perform, they're just like, oh, well, now I have to become.
Yeah,
Let's he's polished, great.
Exactly. But I mean, if you think about it, if you think of who we've seen on camera and just like growing up, it was mostly like actors and news reporters who put on a facade to get on camera. It's very new that now everyone has a camera in front of them, and now they have to remember lines and maybe do a little TikTok dance or whatever the case may be. So it is it's not very new, but it is something more modern that is happening. So, I don't think we were all made to be on camera, to be 100%. There are ways to tell your stories in different ways that you don't have to talk to the camera. But there is a level of but you had a little bit of it before we started filming. Like you're like, oh, this is my baby and this is my brainchild and I'm sharing it with the world. And I was like, nope, you're just sharing it with me. You're just having a conversation with me. And so I think that when you're getting in front of a camera, just you're having a conversation with your best friend, or you're having a conversation with a client that you worked with for a long time. And I think that that will change a lot of the anxiety that you have before you get on camera, because that's what I think. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just talking to my friend. I'm just talking to whoever's next to me. Now, is there some things that I do on camera that I'm like, okay, I'll look at this camera and then that one and then this, yes. You have to you have to know your angles, but at the end of the day, just relax and just have the confidence that you have that authority. And so that goes into my next question, because I want to know, what do you think the difference is between the visible expert, right? Because we talked about stepping in. Now we're over being hidden. So we're a visible expert. And then what's the difference between that and being an undeniable authority?
The way you're positioned.
Okay.
That's the simple answer for what's your position. So visible experts, right? Well, actually, before I answer that, there was one more thing I just could say. So if you are one of those people that struggles with the camera turning on,
So
one piece of advice I can give you: instead of thinking I have to perform, think I have a chance to connect.
ooh,
Yeah.
change the narrative.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's a that's a question. But yeah, so I would say the difference between an expert and an authority, period. Let's break it down, right? So the expert is the person that leads with what they know. They lead with information, and not necessarily transformation.
Ooh, okay.
Right? Now, the authority is the person that doesn't follow trends, they start trends. They're the person that isn't just part of the conversation, they're leading the conversation. They're the person that's willing to shift and change perspectives in their industry about what it is that they're doing. And they're the person who knows and owns fully their own signature framework or method or whatever it is that they do the only way that they can do it. Right? So they know that, they own that, and they're great at communicating that. So I think that's one of the biggest differences, and all that ties into your positioning, right? Knowing how to position your offer, and knowing what your signature offer is, and knowing what it is that you do for your clients and how you transform their lives in a way that nobody else can. That's all a part of the way that you're positioned, as well as messaging, like you talked about earlier. So those are some of the key differences, the way that you put yourself out there.
Yeah, that's important, because I think that a lot of people have information now.
Yeah.
We all can, like, we can put a prompt into ChatGPT and become whatever expert that we want to be. I can become a doctor in 5 minutes if I needed to. Don't put me in the operating room, but I probably will know some words, you know what I mean?
Right.
But what you're saying about transformation is really imperative, because people are no longer just looking for solutions.
Well, they're not looking for results. I think that's
That-
that way of saying it.
Yeah.
So I think people are resulted out.
Yeah, so because it's also like, no, I could do, whatever. I think we're overwhelmed with.
And results can be temporary as well.
Yeah.
What they're looking for is a solution to their problem. What is actually going to change and fix this problem? I need temporary results. I don't need another how-to 10 steps DIY, go do this.
It's hard.
I need solutions. How do I fix the problem, and how can you do it for me?
Right.
And how fast can you do it for me? And that's what people care about.
Speed.
Right. Speed of implementation. How can you accelerate this process? How can you fix this problem? How can you take this issue off my plate? That's what people care about,
Yes.
right? In insert spheres. So, yeah, I would say that's definitely a big part of it too. Okay, I'm mentioning. So I'd agree. But yeah, people are resulted out. They're 10 steps to $100,000 out.
Right. It's not even real. Then you get on the whatever, the Zoom or the webinar, and then you're like, you told me nothing
at all.
Yeah, man. I'm tired of it, because like it is just too much. Like sometimes you just want to actually have the action steps. You need action. Especially at this point, I think a lot of us have been entrepreneurs for a while. Like we were baby entrepreneurs maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. Now we're like, okay,
I'm like, are you actually gonna help me or not?
like I'm not trying to sit on a webinar for you to tell me 30 minutes of your history.
Yeah.
30 minutes of the results you got. Like, what the heck? And then sell me your mastermind for $20,000. And this shouldn't do you, but
Yeah. So if it's not actually helping me, I'm not interested.
for sure. I'm with you.
So have you, Bianca, ever had a moment where you realized that you were not being seen or fully respected as an authority?
Um, do I have a moment where I feel like I wasn't being seen or respected as an authority?
Fully. Being the keyword.
I think I might be in that season right now. Um, Not that I'm not fully seen or respected, but I don't think I'm at my fullest potential. Um, because I am in a new market. Like I started my marketing journey like in Tallahassee. And so a lot of people know me there. And then I brought it to Kissimmee. So for a lot of people in this city, I'm new. Right. So they're like, oh, okay, she's just coming in.
Right.
So I think that there is a lack of messaging on my part to convey that I've been in this game for 10 years.
For a minute.
Yeah, I'm not
She ain't she's true to this.
not doing anymore. And so I think I think in this season, like as you were talking, there were things I was like, okay, I need to tweak some of the things that I say and how I'm perceived and maybe some of my branding. And I have been going back and forth in my mind about like my branding and changing things uh and what is perceived when people go to my website or things of that nature. So I think I'm in that season right now. I think that I'm visible, but I don't think that I am 100% that authority, undeniable authority.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's real.
I mean, sometimes you are in that season. I think that it's a wave. I think that sometimes you're the undeniable authority in the season, and then another season comes, and you have to pivot, and you have to shift, and you have to rebrand, and you have to show up again. I mean, you just did it, right? Like, so it's not. I think that with branding, it's not just about showing up with a logo and pretty colors and a website and then calling it a day and like handing out cards. But at the end of the day, you have to shift. You have to continue to make campaigns. You have to continue to put yourself out there. And so sometimes that looks different in different seasons.
Exactly.
And so this particular season, I know that it's a leveling up season. Like I've done the groundwork of like putting my name out there and I've done, classes, I've done all of the things. And so I know that now it's a time to actually position myself to be a little bit more undeniable.
Strategy. Okay. So you just described a very, very interesting and common transition
Oh, are you really?
that a lot of, entrepreneurs at your level go through.
Okay.
Then that's transitioning from the grinding expert to the established expert. And so the branding expert is the one that's like, okay, I'm putting in the work, I'm showing up, I'm consistent, I'm getting results. But now I'm ready to scale in a way that gives me freedom.
Yes.
Okay, that's the branding expert. And then the established expert is the one that's like, okay, I got my flow, got my system, I'm established, right? I'm seasoned. But now I'm ready to step fully into the undeniable authority era that I know I'm supposed to be in now. So it's interesting to hear you say that because you literally just described like the transition. But yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs go through that. So you are not alone.
Well, I'm glad I'm not alone because sometimes it can feel that way, especially when you're behind your computer in your office. You're like, oh my gosh, like it kind of feels like a lot to take off. Like, and despite you just going off script, but sometimes it feels like a lot to like, it feels like a very big sandwich and you don't know where to start biting it.
Right.
What do you suggest? Like, where do you think is like, okay, I'm the entrepreneur we're talking about now, but in our audience, like if they're in that position, what do you think is a good place for them to start?
That kind of gets me pivoting a little bit into the movement and the reason why I even wrote the book
You're right.
in the first place, right? Because I wanted to give entrepreneurs a clear, recognizable blueprint, not just by sharing my story and, the transitions that I went through, but allowing them to see themselves in my story and to see like how these archetypes and these transitions apply to them so they can actually get a blueprint to get from the hidden expert to the undeniable established authority, right? So yeah, I mean, so the book is literally a blueprint, and I take everybody through that process with me, and I call it the authority ascension strategy.
Okay.
So that's one of my methods.
Authority ascension strategy, just trademark, don't try to steal my friend's stuff.
Very. But yeah, so there's definitely steps to it. We talked about a couple of them earlier in the conversation, learning how to communicate your credibility, learning how to craft premium magnetic messaging, learning how to, excuse me, learn how to define your signature offer and turn it into a scalable income strategy that's predictable and consistent, right? That's a big one for a lot of us. And then finally, learning how to position yourself as an undeniable authority, making sure that you stand out as the go-to, top of mind person that people want to go to for exactly what it is that you do. And so that's what I call taking people from visible to undeniable,
Okay.
right? And so, yeah, it's not just being visible, it's getting to that place where people don't see your brand anymore as just another option out here in the industry, but they literally see you as the only solution that they need. So, yeah.
Okay. So we talked about the authority ascension, and like I mentioned, I'm kind of in the season where, a lot of entrepreneurs are about being visible and then transitioning into being an undeniable authority. So what's something from your framework that you think that we can apply today as entrepreneurs if we're in that season, or if we're in a season of changing our position?
I would say one of the best places to start is your messaging, right? So, perfect example, I'll use a story that you can relate to as well because you were here, you were part of it. So when it comes to messaging, right? Remember when I first started that workshop that we did for the Boss Collective, and I called it like Unlocking Impact or whatever I called it. So that workshop, it had a lot of value in it. It was complete debt, right? I did like a short version for the event. But after doing the workshop and seeing that it actually got somebody results the way that it did, it made me take a step back, and I was like, wait a minute, there's actually something of value here. But how am I positioning it? What was the messaging behind it? What does this event really do for people? So when I tried doing it as the Unlocking Impact workshop, it was kind of vague. People didn't really know what that meant.
Right.
Know what it was, right? So I had to sit down and say, okay, well, what is this workshop going to help them to achieve? What is the solution that it offers? What is the transformation that they're going to get at the end of it? And so after I took the time to go through it and to change the messaging of it, I called it the Magnetic Messaging Workshop. That's one of my signature workshops, right? So the Magnetic Messaging Workshop became its own thing, right? So once I changed the messaging, I decided that I was going to use my own signature method, which I call the Magnetic Messaging Method, right? And then I made sure the transformation was not only are they going to learn how to implement their brand story into their messaging to really connect with people, not only are they going to learn how to craft magnetic messaging, but they're going to leave with a way to apply that messaging structure across various platforms. So I made it very simple point. This is what you're going to get, right? So once I repackaged it and then represented it, the next time I did the workshop, it sold out. And that's when I realized messaging is powerful. That's the power of messaging. So if you currently have an offer, or you currently have something that you're working on that you want to present or represent to the marketplace, take those steps. Look at, okay, what transformation is this going to provide? Who am I talking to? What kind of language or psychology do I need to use in my messaging to attract that person, right? Do I know how to speak to their desires and their pain points? So really take the time to look through it and make sure that you are talking to the right people and attracting the right people. And then when you represent it, let me know how it goes.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, because that's the biggest thing in marketing. When we are positioning or creating a campaign or anything like that, we're always thinking about the pain points. We're thinking about the desires of the client, thinking about, okay, if I'm going to create this graphic, what is it going to say to bring the person in, right? So what attracts the person to the graphic? And usually it's a solution to something that's painful, right? So your advice on messaging, like being the first step, is definitely impactful, because if you think about it, that can go throughout everything, not just like one workshop that can be your messaging on your website, the messaging that you have whenever you create a social post, that's in your email, it's everywhere that you have a conversation with your client, but even also how you show up on video, right? So like even how you deliver your message or talk about your offer or talk about your branding. So that makes a lot of sense. I get that.
Yes, I would say that's one of the easiest places to start is just tweaking the messaging that you already have,
Okay.
right? And I think also another thing to note is that when you're using your messaging, right? Because we talked about not to speak to lack, right? When we talk about pain points, at a certain level, depending on who your client is, they don't have pain points anymore. They may have challenges, but they don't have pain points. You know, they're looking for a different thing. Like we said, they want solutions. So you have to be very clear, and that's why I said it's important to be clear on who you're talking to, because you want to make sure that they're not going to see your messaging and think, oh, lack, survival mode, dying. I'm out here thriving. I'm already making moves. Since it doesn't apply to me, I can't relate.
Right.
You know, so just be intentional with that and make sure that you are appealing to their deepest need, which is probably to embody something, to accomplish something, to provide a solution to something that they need.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes, that's something to consider as well.
But outside of that, I mean, being the authority obviously is important, but do you want to kind of touch a little bit on like brand consistency? Like, I know we talked about logos and we haven't talked about logos and colors, but I think we're very big on logos and colors as well. Like, I think, like, I know that, you know, the book, obviously, and if you haven't gotten the book, Brand Like You Mean It, please. The link will be in the description of the show. Obviously, we want to make sure that you show up in your messaging and your branding and all over wherever you have conversations as an authority. But also, I think there is a aesthetic that we also should talk about. It is not on this paper, but I think we would be remiss if we don't talk about like at least the aesthetics of things. Yeah. So what is your take on the aesthetic side of branding?
so I have a quote, it's in the book too, but I always say branding is not just about aesthetics, it's about authority, right?
Right.
So not saying that it's not an important part of it, but it starts with the authority.
Right.
So the way that I do branding, the way that I approach branding is by the time we get to your visual identity, we already have all the stuff to be talked about solidified, right? So now what I'm creating is just an outward representation of the authority that she carried. And it's built to match that authority
Right.
and to convey it to other people. And it's built to evolve with you in the future because we already know we're going to evolve and our brands are going to evolve, right? So creating something that's timeless is important. And so one piece of advice that we're going to go from, the timeless perspective that I'll give people is less is more when it comes to your logo.
Oh, I'm so glad he started there. Listen, please. Just shadow on the logos. Less
Is more.
is way more.
Because your logo is supposed to be able to be applied to so many different things, so many different assets, and it's like, if you're doing too much, it's not a good look. Most of the luxury brands, the established brands, you notice their logos are very minimalistic, to the point. You're just supposed to see it and remember it, right? So yeah, I think sometimes, we can go overboard.
Like all the colors.
Yeah, I'm like, that's fine if you want to go all out for a flyer or something.
Yeah, that's right. Stop doing the glitter though.
Yeah, glitter is a no-no. Unless you have like a brand for kids or something.
Not even.
I could see how you want to do that, but even so.
No, don't do the glitter either. I mean, she might think differently. Difference of opinion. Stop doing that for them.
She said, that's I glitter.
No, because it doesn't, like, one, as a person that's in graphics, it's complicated. Like, especially when the glitter that your graphic designer made to make the logo is, we're never gonna find it. Unless they give you the file, and the file's so big, we're transferring it through Dropbox. We gotta put it on Canva. We gotta put it on foot. It's just too much. And then when you want to get the glitter printed, you can't get that printed.
Press the print. Now let's
Just stop. Just don't do the glitter. It's okay. You can have a version that is glitter, but don't let that be your main logo.
Yeah.
And don't also the gradients. The gradients in the logo also not needed. One simple color, straightforward, simple, please.
Yeah. Confessions of marketing strategists.
Listen, because it's frustrating when you're trying to create graphics for a brand and they have all these different types of colors and like different fonts and different, it's like this doesn't even go well, and then so everything is missed because it's like I have to figure out all of these different things to just try and make one graphic, and it's just not worth it.
Less is more. That's
Yeah.
what we're taking away from that.
Less is
Less
more.
is more. Good.
And make sure whenever you do, if you didn't hire Oksana to make your logo, then whoever that you do hire to make your logo, make sure they give you all the files. You need the PNG, you need the source file, you need all the files. You don't need just the logo on a white background. You need everything. You need it in white, you need it in black, you need it in transparent background. You need everything.
Please. It will save the time and money. It will.
So, but yeah, that's my advice. We're gonna keep it simple for today.
Yeah.
At least with the logo, keep it simple. Yeah. And when it comes to your graphics and things like that, yes, you can get a little more creative to support. But even with that, like try to stick to your color palette. Try to keep your colors and your fonts consistent across the board as much as possible.
Everything about, I mean, I don't think you should change them.
Yep. Like, so I'm saying like across the board, just like try to keep those consistent as you possibly can. Yeah, you may need to add like an extra font for certain instances, but try to keep it to like, header font, subtext, just keep it font simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But also, I think another tip that we can get there is consider your brand also when you're dressing. I don't have anything. I mean, I have bottom moss colors on today, honestly, because this goes, you see, this goes together. You see how the M and the swirls on it? You see how that? Anyway, yeah, you see what I did. Okay. But,
and I dressed the Korean library and
yesterday, you see, it matches. She's literally wearing the same dress that's in
I just the like never.
She looks exactly like Sun.
That is her. And so consider that. Consider your brand when you are dressing.
Yes.
Your color palette. Maybe you start buying certain things that are in certain colors. I mean, at this point, we have so much hot pink in our closets because of the Boss Collective, which I never had before. So just consider your brand when you are dressing, especially if you're going to networking events or you're speaking. Specifically, if you're speaking, definitely wear your brand colors, show up in your brand colors. It gives you more opportunity for people to remember you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All good 6.
Yes. All right. So this is our time to talk about boss trends. And I mean, we tried to talk about like the aesthetics, the pretty feeds, and things of that nature. But it's really about building authority, like we said. So right now, 55% of first impressions of a brand come from visuals, which I think is obviously because I think we live in such a visual time that it's kind of hard to not be visual. And a signature color, then this is a good statistic. Geez, can I speak English? This is a really cool statistic to me. A signature color can increase recognition by 80%. So if you have a signature color, which is not a great one, like think of like, what is it, primary colors?
Yeah.
Think
For a second.
Yeah, think of the primary colors. Yeah.
That's good. That's a good one.
Right?
8%. Wow.
That's big. And then 91% of consumers prefer visual content over plain text.
I want to go.
I'm 100%.
And at that point, I prefer audio over reading.
Uh-huh. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I can see where I'm going for it, especially Bianca.
Yeah,
It's just
I'm sure you're looking to it. Yeah, for sure.
And then the last statistic, 68% of consumers say that they are more likely to support a brand if they align with their values.
Oh, yeah.
So that is literally what you said, as far as you have to take a stance.
Yeah.
You have to have values.
That's how you find your people. Like, for real, like your diehard people, like that's how you start building a culture as well. Like your brand shouldn't just be about business, it should be a movement. There should be some type of movement behind it. You should be creating a culture around your brand. That's how you end get your most loyal supporters and followers.
Yeah. So, yeah, so that's what the data says about the visuals, which is important. Like, it's not just about showing up, but it's showing up with a specific authority and making sure that your brand colors and your brand identity also follow suit.
Right. Because all of it's a representation of your brand at the end of the day.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. And you want it to be thorough.
So, yeah, so I guess so the last thing we always like to do for you all is to give you some actionable takeaways. Yes. So, Bianca, I'm going to go ahead and let you get us started with these takeaways for today.
Okay. So here's your first step for your takeaway. This week, you want to first plan an audit. So you want to evaluate your perception. Ask 3 people, what do they think about you? And if it does not align with what you actually do, then we have a perception issue. We have a perception gap. So you want to, you want to ask 3 people, okay, what do you think I do?
Right.
And see what they say.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I bet. We should actually do that and then like come back next week on live and then talk about it. But yeah, let's do it. Okay, so this week we are doing an audit and we're gonna ask 3 people, what do I do? Can you tell me what I do? Define what I do.
Oh, you asking me?
Like, no, and you what I do. You with me more than most people in my life. I think you know what's crazy is today I literally put out a reel that was like, you always have to talk about what you do, even if you see a person every single day. Yeah. Because we live with people and you can live with a spouse and you don't know what the heck they do at work every day. Facts. It's a bad thing, yeah. So like you have to tell people what you do.
Yeah.
Because they'll forget.
Keep it top of mind.
Always. Anyway, so what's our next, boy?
Okay, so next one, you're going to write an authority statement. Yay, great. So one sentence that embodies your authority that says who you are, what you do, and the transformation, the unique transformation that you create for your ideal. I hate the term ideal clients, so we use, we'll say your aligned clients.
Yeah.
Right?
Your potential. Yeah. So we're writing a statement and we're saying who we are and what we do.
Yeah, so this is the statement you're going to use when you want to tell people about yourself and what you do. And this is your embodying authority statement. So this is who I am. This is what I do. And the unique way that I do it, I'll add that in there for you. And the unique transformation that I create for specific client.
So that's something that you can use with networking.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So when they ask you, you hit them with impact upon first on. Yeah.
Yep. So like clearly explain it and give it a little bit of room so they can ask you more questions and be intrigued by it.
Okay. All right. So the next takeaway that you're going to be doing this week is you're going to replace one aesthetic post. So one of those posts that you're just randomly posting online because you just think that you have to post something. Because we all do it. Yeah, I feel like, yo, out there. I just got this out there. I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it in 3 months. Let me throw in this little picture of my little kid here. And don't do that. But so we're gonna replace one aesthetic post with an authority-driven content. And so what authority-driven content looks like is sharing a case study, client results, or even your framework.
Can I make a suggestion though?
Yeah.
I would say for your first piece of authority content, share your story.
Okay.
Make it a connection piece. And then kind of insert one of those things into it.
Okay.
Lead with connection.
So to clarify that, when you say share your story, are you saying like
get on video and be like, this is how I started in marketing, or
Yeah, like give a little bit of an origin story of it, where some people can like connect and relate to, so I can actually like see you as a human being before you get into.
we're sharing all the results of the cup like that. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I don't think outside of this podcast, I don't think I've shared my origin story. I've shared it at things that I mean, when I have classes, I've shared it, but not necessarily in the way that I've shared it here, because you only have so much time to tell,
Right. And it doesn't have to be long.
Yeah.
Like 60 to 90-second reel. That's all you need.
Okay.
You know? Doesn't have to be this long, John.
It could just be like one pivotal thing in the story.
Yeah. Whatever relates to where you are now and like how it ties into what you want to talk about, whether it's the framework or the unique method that you found or whatever it is. Right. Just start with the story. Let people lean in, get to know you, get to trust you, and then flip.
I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna do it today.
You got to do it too. Yeah, I'm supposed to record a video when we out of here.
Oh yeah, no, our makeup is done. We got to record. Listen, the one thing about it is when I do this makeup, I'm gonna get out the bag from my buck. I gotta get the bag for purpose of going to the event. If I have done my makeup today, I'm going to film at least 2 to 3 videos.
Period.
Even if I don't have anything to say. Anyway, okay, what's the next takeaway?
And finally, do an identity check. So that means, just take a look at your brand. Does it actually look like you? Does it look like the you that you want to embody, right? Does it sound like you and feel like you, right? That's what you want to check for. Or are you still hiding in certain areas? Have you still not fully spoken up about who you are in certain areas? So take the time to scope of your brand a little bit. Look through your website, look through your social media posts for a little bit and see where you want to tweak some things and where you want to start showing up more fully.
But also document it. Don't just leave it in your head, right? Like write it down. Yeah. Don't worst state changer. Yeah.
For sure. And if you want to go even deeper into your authority journey and step into your own authority era, of course, we can go ahead and grab my new butt, guys. I can peek, so it's actually real. But this is the blueprint. This is the movement. This is how you step into your authority era, okay?
Yes. I'm so glad we had this conversation. It was so needed. And because like we said from the beginning, you already have the authority. Like you already are that girl.
Period. You already a boss, that you know it. So just out there and show people.
Exactly. You just need the brand that reflects it. And that's all. So I'm so excited about, I want to hear you guys tell us, how you transformed and how you were able to take some of these takeaways and actually implement them. So that's what I'm really looking forward to out of this episode.
So after today, you were shrinking, no more hiding, you're stepping out fully and embodying this authority that we know we carry.
Yes. And if you love this episode, please make sure that you are subscribed to The Modern Boss. We love you guys and we want to hear your reviews. So please drop us a review, share it with another woman entrepreneur, and anyone who else needs to hear it. So share it on your Facebooks and your Instagrams. And we have clips on our TikTok and our Instagram. So if you are not following us on any of those platforms, please follow The Modern Boss.
Absolutely. And don't forget to grab your copy of Brand Like You Mean It. This is literally your roadmap to stepping into that authority era and building a brand that really reflects the weight of the authority that you moderately carry.
Well, that's all, bosses. We'll see you next week on The Modern Boss. Bye, y'all.